live. Just loading up the game real quick on BlueStacks so I can actually stream it. So just take a few minutes here to download. Almost there. Yeah, I turned on my game on my tablet, saw that the update was live, let it do its download, and then I closed it out and switched over to BlueStacks, so now we have to load it up. Because I'd rather play on the tablet than on the PC, on the BlueStacks, you know, when I'm just playing it casually, but since I can't connect my tablet to the video card properly and actually get a feed from it, like anything usable, we have to do it this way. Hey, and we are all loaded up. I did click through all the notices before, so there aren't any ones over here. These are lit up again, although we do have new Ultima missions because I believe Aranea is the last one to get her level 90. Like, I think she's the only one that was missing one now. So, let's quick pop over to enhancements. Crystal strength. Since we reset the device it's on, all the things are going to be disorganized. We'll have to find Aranea. We do polls. I have to remember to tell it to sell the junk off real quick, which I'll forget, because that is the type of thing I will very easily forget. And I do have to watch out that it doesn't tell me it's overloading on stuff, because that happened last time. Alright, so it's on joined. It's not helping. We want it organized by series. Or actually, no, by experience times 2. Makes it easier to find them for this sort of thing. Alright, so yeah, Fran has 90. I'm not sure who else is on her banner. Is it Waka? Might be Waka, might be Kate Sith. Maybe it's Kate Sith. Maybe Waka was the last one. Anyway, we're gonna scroll on down. And we're gonna unlock all of this. Gotta do our little spear flip and twirl. Back out of that. Back out of this. Come on over here to level up. So I've mostly been spending the feathers to level up because I don't know if JP has level 100 yet, which means that if it doesn't, then all these feathers are going to start accumulating and we're never going to have anything to spend them on, and you can't not claim them from the dailies anymore because now all the dailies are like one thing. So I want my present box, like, overflowing with feathers that last 90 days. So, alright, I just realized I am getting the sound from my laptop speakers, and that's going to mess things up because the audio will cut in and out when I talk, basically. So we're going to flip it over to my headset and whatnot, so that should make it easier to hear the game audio while I'm talking. Well, make it easier to hear the game audio when I'm not talking, actually, so that way it's not getting cut off. Grab those things. And yeah, I don't think there's anybody now who's level 80 anymore. Right? Like, literally every character has their level 90 awakening. So yeah, as far as I know, aside from getting new characters, there's nobody who's going to need the chocobo feathers for a bit to level up. So I don't want the present box overflowing with useless feathers right now. So I've been spending them all on the more recent characters to level them up. Usually I hate spending resources, but I also hate wasting things, so having them overflow the present box isn't going to help me any. Alright, let's head over to the Intersecting Wills. So weird hearing the, first world music again, since it defaults to that instead of to the third world, and it's, ASMR wind blowing through the trees. Glad I was paying attention to that. Yeah, when it didn't default to hard, the number of times I get, up through the first boss on one of these, or a lost chapter or something, and suddenly realize that I'm not in hard mode. Like, I haven't been in hard mode the entire time. Alright, so let's go see what our first chapter story bit looks like. Glimmer of Ambition. Yep. I know the drill. I forgot there were Biggs and Wedge. Yeah, you have them in the beginning of After Years, I think. For that first dungeon. I forget if you keep them. Throughout the game, because you get so many characters, and every one of the side characters in your party, for the most part, make it all the way through the end of the game. You can have all of Edge's random ninja friends with him, ninja followers, ninja disciples, whatever. So is it weird that he's the only one getting voice lines? I know they don't voice everything. They usually just throw in a line or two here, but I think he's the only one that's gotten a voice line for this scene. Oh, and as soon as I say that, we get her laugh. Okay. Alright. Take off auto battle, and yeah, we have to swap out Zidane here. Okay, so we can bring in Freya, we can bring in Kate Sith. I do like the buffs, so we'll just bring in Kate. And since we're here, and since we are going to have to use her for some of the harder fights, we might as well just borrow this real quick. Sure, Kane won't mind. Yep. Yep, okay. Okay, and we should be good. Yeah, I guess we can give some people some extra gold, extra gil, some financial assistance. If you actually did see my other Opera Omnia stream, I did eventually beat the 6-man event. As I said, I used Excalibur on YouTube and basically followed his fight plan. So he had used Renoa instead of Tifa, and I just followed that pretty much exactly. He had slightly better things than me, but the fight was still very easy to do. I actually missed the first bit of dialogue. Alright, not gonna lie, hang on. I did miss that first bit of dialogue when I clicked on it, so I kind of want to... Oh, come on. There you go. Let me just restart it. I missed what the very first part of that was, and then I saw the little bit about Chantoto because I was thinking about the fight before. Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright. The extra stuff for the regular mode. And we're good. The next one. Just have to remember not to bring a friend unit to like the harder ones, like the boss fights, so that way we don't miss out on certain rewards and have to redo it. Yeah, so I basically just followed Excalibur's thing for the Six Warrior event and crushed it pretty easily. And I also used him to do the fight with Benevelza for the last chapter. You might have noticed I was only on cleared, not complete. So, but I don't feel like I need to stream me copying somebody else's playthrough. So, if you needed help with that, I wouldn't be able to help you any more than telling you to watch his stuff on YouTube. It is Excalibur, like Excalibur, but with an L in between the B and the U at the end, so. So yeah, whenever I'm struggling with an event, I usually just click on his playthrough. because his playthroughs have informed a lot of my playstyle. Like, I don't know exactly what the numbers look like for any given thing, so while I can build a party on my own and do it, sometimes I'm just missing, like, if I did it exactly the way he does it, I get an extra, 10 or 15% damage by the time I'm spent on everything. So if I'm not overkilling it by a lot, then I usually need his help. So, for, the harder stuff, yeah, I don't know enough about the individual mechanics to figure out, where I'm missing damage from without actually actively following somebody else's playthrough. Because it's usually just a matter of I'm missing 5 or 10% somewhere, but that means that the multipliers aren't getting buffed up, and that means I'm missing. So, the enemy will be alive by 5 or 10% health when they should be dead. Or I'm just making the fight, way more complicated than it needs to be, something like that. And so I have to go find somebody who's cleared it. And for whatever reason, Excalibur and I seem to focus on similar characters a lot of the time. Or I tend to have the characters that he's using, sometimes randomly, but so I can usually follow along and figure out what I've been doing wrong. Whenever that doesn't work, if he's using characters I just don't have and my substitutes aren't working, I usually try Theologica, and if I can't copy their thing, then I just go through the event and find somebody who's using a team that I have, basically. Ah, man, Rain's really falling hard for Aranea right now, isn't she? Yeah, I've heard this event is, pretty easy as far as Lufenias go. Lufenia? Shinryu? Shinryu. I mean, the Lufenia too, but the Shinryu shouldn't be that hard. So, hopefully we'll just be able to crush it real quick with the standard, gauge building, Lunafreya spinning around and healing everybody 10,000 times, and then letting Tifa punch it to death. Or Renoa magic it to death. Whichever one of them's feeling it at the time. Sure. I'll bring Sue. I don't get to see Sue that much anymore. She stops by every once in a while when Octo's streaming, but I see her son a lot more than I see her in the chat anymore. But then again, Octo doesn't do anything really with Opera Omnia, so he did for a while, obviously. So you'll see a lot of the Tenna crew on my friends list because of that. But yeah, he doesn't play anymore. He got bored of it, and so that was using the Broadway Saiyan. I was using him anyway because he was one of the better resources that I found. Now he's out of it, so at that point it was kind of a coin flip between Josepher on his recommendations or Simply Lost, who I used to follow for Union Cross stuff. He was my backup to Octo the same way the Broadway Saiyan was my backup for Opera Omnia stuff, and then he became my main when Octo stopped doing things. and I started, actually even before then, I kind of followed Broadway saying more for like poll advice and whatnot. And then he had Broadway saying had recommended Josepher as one of the people to follow, so I've been using his stuff, but it sounds like he's kind of losing interest in the game. Like he's getting really frustrated with the way the gameplay loops happen, so he's kind of thinking about moving out of it. Anyway, just gotta read the story for a little bit before I continue. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, I've been using Josepher for my pull recommendations. Just to, like, even if I disagree with him, like, at least, tell me why this character, like, what this character brings to the table, why people would be using them. That's the type of information I need, because it really helps when I just need to know, like, the difference between power levels. Like, Tifa is an insane beatdown character. Renoa is an insane beatdown character. But there are a lot of other characters that are not as good at them that are still reasonably strong. So it helps to know that, like, they're the top tier damage dealers, and that if I have them, I can basically ignore other DPSs if I want to, and then only have to worry about those other DPSs for, like, personal preference. If I'd have a lot of fun using that character more often. Or if they have, like, some niche that they do very well. Because usually those are the reasons that I pull for a character. First I pull for power and meta, and then I pull for, like, corner case scenarios where they're, like, really good. Like events where most of the normal meta characters fail or struggle. If you can clear an event super easy, especially events where characters get locked out. Like, one of the reasons why I want to get Celis's burst at some point in time. At the beginning of December, we're getting the next Transcendence tier, and I believe that's the one she solos. Like, Celis is very good at soloing events because of how her FR and BT interact with each other. And I've actually seen, like, JP play, like full clears of that event just with Celis. Like, you get a proper setup soon enough, and she will solo the boss. With like 1000%, like 999% FR bonus for multiple turns. So I would like to have an easy clear on the FR on the oh god, the name just went out of my head. Dimensions End. The new tier coming out. Transcendence, yeah. But if I don't get her on either this banner or Dorgan, something like that, Bart's dad. Which, by the way, like, I love the oddball pulls, like the deep cuts and whatnot. But can we please get, like, you know, a third Final Fantasy Tactics character at some point in time? Or, you know, like a main cast member from one of the other games that we're still missing. Like, I know a lot of people want Riku and Red 13, and just for completion's sake, you know, like, I would take them. I know JP finally got, like, Quina, like, a couple months ago, so that one showed up. There's still, 9 is still missing, Amaranth. I don't know, I never really used him. My main party in 9 was, Zidane, Garnet, Vivi, and actually Quina. Like, I know a lot of people use Steiner, but I really liked, Quina's Blue Magic, especially the Auto Life and White Wind, Angel Snack, I think was one of the better ones from him. I forget exactly what... Like, I'm blanking a bit on what the different spells did, but also, like, Limit Glove and Toe Drop being able to do basically max damage in certain boss fights. Alright, so here's our first boss. So we're going to want to not bring anybody else to the fight. I don't think this one cares. I think it's just the whatchamacallits, the Chaos and higher that care about not bringing a friend, but just to be on the safe side. I still haven't seen that message pop up that said, like, I was overflowing something the last time. Oh, hey, Celis gets a turn. Shine Edge doesn't... to non-targets. Okay, Shine Edge does do AoE damage. I could not remember if it did. I've been using, you know, her LD so much in co-op. Alright. Who's our first boss? Ah. Alright. He will hit you with the LD. I forget if this guy gets to transform. Like, if he can't be killed here. Yeah, okay. He does get to transform. There's no way to one-shot him. That's fine. We can two-shot him. Oh, hey, he resists my attacks. That's neat. Hey. Yeah, let's do the fight real quick. I never noticed. I wonder if Vintage streams at all. Alright, and down to the story mode. Yeah, okay, they will keep moving along without. I was wondering, would they just keep walking forever if I didn't click? But yeah, she just kept on going right off the screen. Okay. Hey, it's Joshua. Sure, we'll bring his Minwoo. And yes, this is actually him, too. the guy from the community streams. When he was first doing work for Aranea, he used to go to streamers' streams and like stop in and talk about the game with them and whatnot. When he was still like new to being one of the community managers. So when he popped into one of Octo's streams, he actually gave out his ID number and followed a bunch of the people that, followed him through that. So, yes, I actually do have Square Enix Joshua on my friends list, which is kind of neat. Yeah, I've never had Glacy or Crystal, though, because to my knowledge, they have never done that. But yeah, Joshua was just going around to streams, and Octo... So, Octo was actually invited to, like, one of the Union Cross, like, player events, like the community... I don't know, content creator events, I guess. Because both his content and the other people he knew that were creating content and did things with, he was able to get an invite to that. So I guess because he was seen as a community leader for that game and was playing Aranea, Joshua stopped by to like he would just come in occasionally on the stream and just hang out and like talk to people when he could. So obviously, since Octo doesn't really do much in the Aranea community anymore, what with him not actively playing it, we haven't seen Joshua pop into stream all that much. He does occasionally stop by just to say hi, because he's a nice guy like that, and hang out for a little bit. But... So yeah, so I do have the actual Square Enix Joshua on my friends list because of that. Yeah, I have a few others. Like, I think I still have Simply Lost. I forget if I'm just following him or if, we are mutuals on this game. I think I'm just following him, but I'm not sure. And then I had not Broadway Same, but he had a secondary account. And we followed each other on that account. And then he got rid of that account or stopped playing actively on it. So it's still like lost in my friends list somewhere. Also, I have like Simply Lost old account. Yeah, back when I was first watching him, he went by Lost Predictions, and then he dropped the predictions and started calling himself Simply Lost. So every once in a while, I kind of slip and call him Lost Predictions because of that. I've never encountered Josepher, and I usually don't watch his streams live, so... And I think I've followed Long Time Gaming, but I never got a follow back from him, and I don't know if he still plays or not. Obviously he's friends with Octo, so... be interested in having him on my follow list just for that reason. Oh wait, is this a boss fight? Did I accidentally go into a boss fight? Because it's loading up with a friend unit. Sorry, Taz. I don't think I was supposed to bring you for this fight. 1 out of 3. Maybe it's not the boss round? If it is the boss round, we have to redo it. I might have missed that. Because I was too busy talking about all the... I was too busy dropping names and acting like I'm a cool guy in the community or something. I think I also had, like, Inkwelder, but I only had him, like, I was following him. I managed to get, like, a follow-in on him, but he did not follow me back. I think Inkwelder's a guy. I could be wrong about that, too. From the Tomberry Troop. Which is my primary resource center. Okay. Alright, so that was not a boss then. That makes me feel better. When it had to load, I was concerned that... Okay. Because the boss was on the screen, so... I clicked on that one instead. Alright, so we want to go all the way to the bottom. And... no, I don't have any burst weapons on the characters, and she's not... Celis is not, like, maxed out character board, so we probably won't one-shot the Chaos. Okay, well, let's hit them with the hard stuff, see how well they take it. Yep, still over 50% after 2 hits.
I will try to find
some. Hey, not particularly impressive, but fight's over, so good enough. Oh, my audio just cut out. I still have... Okay, there we go. I still have my micro... Oh, encoding overloaded. Consider turning down... Okay, so encoding overloaded. So we're going to take a quick second. So... I need to find encoding. Full screen. Yeah, encoding caused my thing to crash the last time, like, super hard. Like, my whole system just shut down. Where was the thing? Recording settings. Was it under settings? Show sensitivity, system tray. Scenes. Alright, that was general. Server. Output. Output scaled resolution. Advanced. Priorities. Render. Network. Sources. I don't see anything about encoding anywhere. So last time the encoding just overloaded and it crashed my entire system. And I had to do a manual shutdown of the, just force shutdown and restart the computer. And I'd like to avoid that, but I don't see anything about encoding. Yeah, I couldn't find it before, but I couldn't remember what it said was overflowing before. Yeah, I think it's because it's downloading all of the individual things that it keeps over. That's what overloaded it, because once I reloaded, I didn't have to download as much, and it didn't happen again. Alright, so since I can't find anything under my settings for encoding, I'm going to close the BlueStacks real quick, and then open it again before it winds up crashing the whole system again. So we're just going to shut it down real quick and let it sit for like a minute, and then I'll reopen the game and we'll start from there, so that way it doesn't crash the system again. Because the encoding overloading was what was stopping me from playing the game the last time, and literally crashed my entire computer because it couldn't keep up with it. So shut it down for a little bit, take a breather. If you wanted to use the restroom, now would be a good time. And we'll open it back up and finish the story chapter. Because that was what was happening last time, is every time I had to load a new bit of the event, it slowed it down a tiny bit, and then I started getting those error messages in what is the bottom left corner of my OBS, and it was saying, encoding overloaded. So I'm going to guess that... So, not guess. That was what was causing it the last time, but I could not remember that was called encoding, but I don't see anything named encoding under the settings that I could adjust. So, we're just going to shut it down, and hopefully... Let's see. We're not capturing my desktop, so... Let me just... wrong thing. Let me just open up my control panel real quick and make sure that BlueStacks is completely shut down, and then we'll open it back up again and resume the game. Just want to make sure it's not going to... I want to make sure it has shut down, and that it's not going to open back up again, mid thing and start crashing again immediately. Let's go in here, over to my system, and find the task manager. Find and look for anything BlueStacks. Make sure there's nothing from them. Still running. There's nothing under B for BlueStacks. Are all alphabetical, but I want to make sure it's not like something BlueStacks. I don't know how it looks in my thing, but I'm not seeing anything BlueStacks related. They are using a ton of my disk space, though. There we go. Okay, disk space is going back down to a more reasonable number. Okay. Alright, I'll reopen BlueStacks then on Aranea, and we should be able to play out the rest of the event then. Got this donut here I'm going to eat while it loads the file, so enjoy the ASMR, I guess. Alright, I'll keep an eye on that corner again. Make sure it doesn't show the encoding overflowing again. We'll head back to the intersecting wills. Yeah, hopefully that fixes it. Like, I think it might have just loaded one too many events, basically. Like, all these little tiny downloads here and there just kind of overloaded what it was doing. So hopefully shutting it down and restarting it will take the edge off, and we'll be able to complete the rest of the event. Hmm. We got a little skip in the music, but I didn't see the thing pop up, so. That is one of the weirder things, is every time Aranea strikes her combat pose in storylines, her helmet just appears and then disappears instantly when she takes it off. Or when she takes it off, when she goes out of combat stance, rather. Suppose we'll bring over Noah. Yeah, we're getting close to the main boss, so I don't want to use up all of my Luna Freya friends, probably. Ah, nope. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using... Oh! I know what I can do. Alright, so after this fight, we'll go into the settings for the actual game, because I had to do this with my tablet too. So when I was playing this event before, well, not this one, the 6-man event, you might have heard me say that it's fun seeing it in HD because I'm not used to seeing that. Yeah, apparently I had turned down the HD settings on the game because it was making the game run poorly. So, alright, so we'll leave here then, and we'll go to the actual game settings and turn the graphics down just a touch. And we'll see if that helps. Because we're still getting the error message, so real quick, let's go to the home screen. Over to here. Settings. I think it's under power. Oh no. Selecting low limits graphics and may help conserve. Yeah, let's do that. That'll turn the graphics down a bit from HD down to a more a little less like vibrant, but other than that, shouldn't be too bad. And hopefully that helps the encoding overloading problem that we were having. Because that's what I had to do for my tablet because it was running slowly. Like, from my perspective, everything was fine, but in co-ops, I kept getting bombarded by people telling me to hurry up or to do something, even though, like, it hadn't even gotten to my turn yet. They were just, like, spamming it at me, like, over my character, and then it would be my turn, and they were still spamming it relentlessly even while I was going. So I'm wondering if from my perspective, it didn't seem to be a problem, but I'm guessing from their perspective, I was lagging so hard that it looked like I was taking forever to do anything. So hopefully, with the turned down graphics, maybe we don't overload the encoding. And then we don't crash my whole system. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it again, since I did see it pop up before. And hopefully I'll notice it if it's still a problem. Because I did shut down, like, the game, but I didn't shut down OBS, and maybe OBS is what was having trouble keeping up with the encoding because of the graphics settings. Like, maybe my own internal graphics card couldn't keep up with the HD graphics. Maybe that was the problem. And then the reason why, like, it crashed and I had to restart, and we didn't have to do as much from that point, so it never got to overload again. So, like I said, I'll keep an eye on it, see if that was the problem, and hopefully we get through the rest of the event without crashing. Like, we're almost done anyway, and then we'll, like, probably throw a few tickets at Aranea, but I don't super care if I get her weapon, and I may or may not be in the market for Drogan. I genuinely cannot remember Bartz's dad's name exactly. Alright, let's see if it pops up while I'm loading, because that's usually where I would see it, was during all of the loadings from, like, the actual data download. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. Oh man, and now it's crashed. Oh, no, wait, hang on. Alright, maybe I can turn down the encoding on the BlueStacks player itself. Unfortunately, it's making my entire CPU chug right now. So alright, hopefully it makes it into the fight. And once it's done loading, I will check the BlueStacks player. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can find encoding on the BlueStacks player. Yeah, it's lagging so hard it's not letting me see the thing. I don't want it to crash my whole system. Eco mode. Multi-instance manager. Okay, it's letting me mouse over things. Set location. Shake. Rotate. Open media folder. Take screenshot. Install APK. I don't know what an APK is. Trim memory. Sync operations. Open macro manager. Game controls. Lock mouse cursor. Increase volume. Toggle full screen. Alright, if we click menu, what comes up? Settings. Yeah, maybe we have to change the I changed it on the game. Maybe I have to change it on BlueStacks itself. which is going to be a problem if it can't load in because, like, the computer is trying to crash right now. Yeah, I'm afraid to do anything else with the game. Alright, CPU allocation medium. CPU allocation. Oh god, I do not know what I'm supposed to be doing. Graphics. Is... Yeah, I might not have the internal graphics card for this is the problem. Like, going through my system is just overloading it. And I don't know what any of these mean as far as changes will apply on next launch too, so even if I change it, it won't help right now. Software decoding, hardware decoding, or disabled. Interface render. Yeah, I don't know what any of these are. Unfortunately, binary interface, Android debug bridge, input debugging. Full screen, unlock mouse cursor, desktop notifications, auto hide desktop notifications. No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know enough about any of these to know which one I'm supposed to be using. Okay, I was going to say, clicking on the question mark has not caused anything. Encoding overloading, consider turning down. Yeah, no, I'm trying. I am genuinely, desperately trying. Oh, I don't like this. It's like it's doing stuff while this is going on. Alright, I'm going to end the stream before my whole system crashes. I'm going to try and come back. So, give me a few minutes.